Welcome to City Issues, a series of discussions with Mayor Randy McClement and key city staff designed to provide useful information on a variety of city topics and answer some common questions. I'm Nikki Bamonti, and this is City Issues.
It's sort of transportation hub. It's a multimodal ability to get people through.
Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing in Frederick? The Frederick Police Department, or FPD, is a full-service, nationally accredited police agency, providing services to the more than 67,000 residents of the city, as well as hundreds of thousands of yearly visitors. FPD provides an array of police services through multiple divisions within the agency, in an effort to keep the quality of life high and effectively prevent and combat crime. In 2015, Mayor McClement appointed Edward Hargis the city's new Chief of Police. I'm here with Mayor McClement, and today we're talking with Chief Hargis about his first year on the job in Frederick. Chief, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
How's it going, Chief?
Good.
Good. Well, it's been about a year since you've come on board with the city. I thought this is a good opportunity for you to be able to tell our residents some of the things that you did when you first came on, how you got associated with not only the department members, but with the community itself. So tell us what you've been doing for the last year.
Keeping busy, that's for sure.
Very good.
When I was appointed Chief of Police here in Frederick, I kind of had a little bit of a game plan, as this is the second agency where I've come in from the outside as a Chief of Police. So when I got here, three primary focuses I had was, one, meet the individuals within the police department, those that work not only in a sworn but civilian capacity. Get out into the community, attend as many community meetings and functions as I could, just introduce myself, talk to people. And three is introducing myself to the fellow or allied law enforcement partners that assist us, whether it be the Frederick County Sheriff's Office, the Maryland State Police, FBI, DEA, Homeland Security Investigation. So what I did internally within the department is I actually sat down one-on-one with every employee we have. I had a series of questions, and the interviews took about a half hour, 45 minutes for each person. And that took about 2.5 months to accomplish, because at the same time I was out attending all the community events. On the community side, I was going out and attending all the NAC meetings, neighborhood advisory councils, resident council meetings, homeowners associations, the special events. Any place where I could get out and talk to people, I would get out and introduce myself. And then what I also found useful here in Frederick was driving around the neighborhoods and just getting out of the car and walking up to people that were sitting on their porch and introducing myself and saying, I'm the new Chief of Police. Gave you a little bit of background where I came from and everything, and just said, what are your concerns for the police department? What should I be focused on over the next couple of years here? And everybody was welcoming and gave me their input along the way. And of course, the third component was getting out with the other law enforcement agencies, speaking with them. We have to rely on each other to be successful. So whether we coordinate training, intelligence information, crime trends, what have you, they were already in place. So that was a very easy process to get through.
So was it challenging from just the area itself, getting used to a brand new place, knowing where everything was, how to get to here to there?
There were many nights where I was on the side of the road with GPS trying to figure out where I am and where I'm going, but Frederick is not that difficult to find your way around in, so that came pretty quick.
Great.
So once you got acclimated and got a feel for the area and everyone in the department and all the other agencies and community groups, can you talk a little bit about some of the changes in the department that you implemented over the last year?
Some of the things that we've done with the police department, I wanted to start a community survey. So we got a group together, internal group of officers, and put together a community survey. We put that out online. We took it out to the NAC meetings and what have you. And that just gave us a good sense of what the community thought, or giving us the idea of what they thought was important for us to address. Quality of life issues, where we should be focusing on, those types of things. Internally within the department, I started an employee advisory group. So I meet with representatives from each area of the police department once a month as a group. And that allows me to tell them where we are, where we're going, and also get feedback on what the rank and file of the agency is seeing and their concerns. So it's a good exchange of information going back and forth. Another one of my major focuses was establishing a marketing committee. We have to present ourselves out to the public for one, so we can do crime prevention, education, those types of things, but we also need to really step our game in recruiting, especially in today's climate for law enforcement. And when you talk about increasing diversity within the organization, we got to be able to go to a job fair and they walk in and see the Frederick Police Department job booth and they associate that's the place where I want to be. So the marketing committee is working on that. Also started a physical fitness committee because I think having officers that are physically fit as well as a wellness program that builds more confidence out on the street works for better decision making in critical incidents. So I've been really focusing on that.
Excellent. Sounds like you have some great things in place right now for things to come. Speaking of that, what's on the horizon? What do you have out there that you'd like to be trying to do?
We're going to maintain our community policing philosophy throughout the organization, and we're going to take a look at new ways to get out and interact and engage the public. This past February, we did our first crime summit where we had a number of crime prevention programs that a citizen could come to. We held it at Hood College, and you could actually pick what classes you wanted to take. We had identity theft by the FBI. We had a gang presentation. We had how to start a neighborhood watch and how to protect or increase security in your business. So we had an array of different topics. So we're going to continue on that. We just started a Police Explorer program. So we're looking for youth ages 14 to 20 to get involved with the police department on a regular basis so the officers can interact with them and they'll learn about law enforcement. And hopefully that's a recruiting tool that they will follow when they turn 21, apply to be a police officer and get into the organization. Frederick Police Department has had Coffee with a Cop. We're now taking a look at maybe doing Bicycle with a Cop, setting up bike rides in certain neighborhoods in the evening. We even thought about doing Basketball with a Cop and going around to different areas of the community. So we're targeting all age groups and trying to interact with them as much as possible. So community policing is a main one. We had a leadership development program. We started that back in October. I brought Dr. Enders in from Georgia. He does proactive leadership strategies. He came in and he did a course for the entire police department on moving or how to be proactive in the leadership supervisory role. This past April, we brought in Dr. Gil Martin. He does a program on emotional survival, more of that wellness, because being in law enforcement takes a toll on you year after year, call after call. So he really gave some good information for officers to survive their entire career. So we are taking a look at continuing that leadership development within the organization. And, you know, technology, we can't keep up with technology for law enforcement, but we're trying to. We have the body camera. We're having 18 cameras will be deployed hopefully by August or right around August time frame. So there'll be 3 cameras on each of our 6 patrol shifts. So that'll be to start a pilot program to see how that works. So we're doing a whole bunch of things in a lot of different areas right now.
Great.
Given the general feeling in the country about law enforcement right now, can you talk a little bit about what you're doing in Frederick and in the department to improve community relations and maybe a little bit about 21st century policing?
Community policing, like I said, we're going to maintain that philosophy throughout the whole organization. And from day one since I got here, I've been encouraging the officers to get out of the cars, get into the neighborhoods, get in, speak with people, talk to the businesses within their patrol areas. Just like I'm doing, you know, drive down the street. Last night I was out on All Saints Street and just walked up and talked to people on their porch. Those quick little 2-3 minute conversations go a long way with building trust. Obviously, after Ferguson and New York City, the President of the United States put together the 21st Century Policing Task Force. It was a committee chaired by Commissioner Ramsey from Philadelphia at the time and Professor Robinson from George Mason University, and had a whole array of community members, faith-based leadership, youth were on there, and they held hearings around the country and talked about police-community relationships, and from that they developed the 21st Century Policing Plan. The plan was released in May of 2015. It's based on 6 pillars, and with each pillar there's a number of objectives for law enforcement agencies to try to implement which would overall improve the relationships with the community. I don't think any law enforcement agency will be able to implement every single one of those, but you just have to pick which ones are going to work in the city or town that you're working in, and work to put those in place.
You know, you've been here for a year, and we always like to end on a fun note. You've gotten used to Frederick. Tell us, since you've been here, what's your favorite thing about Frederick?
I like the individual neighborhoods. It's a city, it's a close-knit city, but each neighborhood has its own personality. And one of the things I like to do is go bike riding, and I'd like to ride around different neighborhoods. And you know, you got flat ground, you have hills for the biking, the physical fitness component. There's a lot of different scenery. You could be downtown 1 minute, and you could be out towards farmland in 2 minutes later. So I really like the whole environment of Frederick.
Now, when the chief says he likes bike riding, for our audience to know, the chief takes little jaunts every once a year of about 150 miles on a bicycle. Does it for a good cause. But so when he talks about biking, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I'm a member of Law Enforcement United. It's a group of police officers, retired officers. We raise money to support concerns of police survivors. So after an officer's killed in the line of duty, cops comes in and helps the family recover from the loss of the officer. So every year in May, right leading up to Police Week in Washington, D.C., we get together down in Chesapeake, Virginia, and we do a 250-mile bike ride over 3 days to Washington, D.C. And over the past 9 years that it's been going on, we raised about $3.5 million. So coming up in May of 17, that'll be my 4th year of being a participant in that.
That's great. Chief, thanks so much for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.